Hello everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the Expat Career and Lifestyle podcast. This is Dominika Miernik, your host, and today I invited a very special guest, Damien O'Farrell. He is a global mobility specialist and expat coach based in Rome, my favorite city. He assists C-suite executives, VIP talents locating to Italy, and he provides also spousal support and expat coaching. And with Damien today, we are going to speak about the challenges of starting a small business in Italy. So listen to the episode, take notes, and share your thoughts with us. Enjoy it. Hello, Damien. Thank you for being with us today. So please tell us more about you and what are you doing?
Okay, well, first of all, Dominika, thank you so much for having me as a guest on your podcast. And congratulations on your podcast, because I know how much effort it goes into producing one. So I really admire you for getting this out on a regular basis.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I define myself as a global mobility specialist and expat coach / consultant. So I am the quintessential one-stop for when you relocate to Italy. By that I mean that I will take you through the entire process, including the immigration, the relocation, and any coaching that you might need with regards to settling in or starting a business from the point of view of positioning the business in this market. And that's essentially what I do.
Mm-hmm. Great. So you have been living in Italy, in Rome, exactly for many years now. So what attracted you to Italy and to Rome?
Okay, next week on May 1st, it will be my anniversary. I will have been in Italy for 31 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Yes. Okay.
A long time, yeah.
I know. A lot of people say that to me. They say, wow, that's a long time. Italy, to be honest, was never really on my radar. But 31 years ago, I was kind of deciding where I wanted to be. And an opportunity, a 3-month opportunity, I should say, came up in Italy. And I came over in 1988 for this 3-month opportunity. And very quickly when I got here, I kind of got involved with the expat community and I started doing some coaching. Mm-hmm. At that time, coaching was really unheard of. But I started a group also for expats. And at that time, around 1990, I put together a course that was called How to Live and Work Successfully in Italy. And that was kind of my first major project that I did with the expat community.
So, do you feel like more Italian now, or do you feel Irish, or both?
I think that, when you're born and you grow up in a country, I think there's always a part of that stays with you. Okay. And when I hear myself think and talk, sometimes I think that I'm still quite Irish. Mm-hmm. I think in Europe, which is very different from the United States, for example, you kind of never really become part of the country where you live, even if you live there for a very long time. Okay, it's a little bit different in the United States. Once you become a citizen, people say, okay, now you're American, and you're embraced as an American. Whereas I think in Europe, I think it's a little bit different. I think that even if you live in another country for a very long time, the people embrace you, obviously. But I think they always kind of see you a little bit as a foreigner. And I think that also affects how you see yourself living in the country.
Yes, I agree with that because I have been living also in Italy for many years, and I am from Poland, and I still feel Polish.
Yeah, and Dominica, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because I think that your own country gives you a lot of good things, and I think that there are certain things that you can build on in Italy. And then I think Italy also helps you too. I mean, I think on some kind of a karmic level, I was brought to Italy to learn patience. Okay,
Yeah.
because I don't have patience. I'm not a patient person. I want everything done yesterday. Okay. And I've learned in Italy to be very patient. Okay. Something even as simple as going to the post office can turn into a 1 hour undertaking. And so you just learn to go with the flow. And I think that's positive.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, what has been your biggest challenge regarding like starting your business and running your business in Italy?
I think initially the biggest challenge was linguistic, not having the language at the beginning. Okay. Um, I think you cannot underestimate how big of a challenge that is. Without the language, it's difficult to maneuver yourself in any culture. Then I understood quite quickly that bureaucracy was complicated, taxation was complicated. So I knew that I would need the help of a very savvy accountant. And this is one of the things that I tell all of my clients. Do not even think of starting a business in Italy without a really good accountant and possibly even a lawyer. But I think if you can get through those initial obstacles, I think you have a lot of opportunities in Italy.
Yeah, yeah. So language is like learning the language. It's very important to.
Absolutely. You can't go anywhere really without the language. You're going to be very limited in your scope of expansion.
Yeah. So what else like would you advise? Because Italy, it's Italy, Rome, and like the whole Italy, it's a very beautiful country, and many people they want to move here, start a
Mm-hmm.
business or a new career. So what else like can you advise, for example, to an expat who is thinking about starting a small business here, and like it's not like risky because economy it's not so fantastic at the moment, and also like the political life in Italy it's not so
Mm-hmm.
fantastic at the moment. So what else could you advise?
Okay. The first thing that I always advise people on is their motives for moving to Italy. Okay. I think you have to get very granular regarding that specific aspect. Okay. What do you hope to achieve here? And will Italy be the right market for you? Okay. By that, I mean that if you want to be an actor, you wouldn't move to Nebraska. Okay. You would move to New York City, you'd move to Los Angeles or London. And I think that's the same for when you're starting a business. Will Italy be the right place for the business that you have in mind? Okay. And if you've decided, based on the due diligence that you've carried out, that this is going to be a good market for you, then I think it's very important to figure out where you're going to promote that business. Italy is a very big consumer market. It has 60 million people. So there are a lot of opportunities. Services, a lot of services are underperforming. So I think there are a lot of opportunities regarding anything to do with services. Real estate, I think a fresh approach in that sector could bring a lot of opportunities. But I would go back to the original point of, is this the market for the service or the product that you want to launch? And you need to be with a great accountant, somebody that can advise you particularly if you need to hire employees. Okay. Also, if you want to run what I describe as a borderless business, okay, you may run into difficulties in Italy regarding that. Okay. Italy is not Estonia, for example, which has introduced an e-visa, which is very much aimed at digital nomads. Okay. These new concepts of working in Italy are a little bit kind of behind with regards to the legislation. So very often when I speak to my own accountant regarding certain things, she can't often give me an answer because there's really no directive in Italy or law that manages or can give information on what I'm asking about.
Yeah, so it's not so still like popular, like the digital business, let's say.
Exactly. And then if you're going to do that, you need to be living in a major market, because sometimes when you go outside of the major markets, you might not have a lot of fantastic internet connection.
Exactly. So, like, what do you see? Because you said that like services, real estate, those are some sectors where we can find opportunities, like to find an idea for a business in Italy. So, what do you see like other different ideas for a business, for a small business here?
At the end of the day, we're either selling a service or we're selling a product. So I think that in Italy, I think there really is a lot of room for growth regarding anything that has to do with a service. Okay. That can also be the service of a headhunter. It can be the service of providing maid service for people. It can be the service of repairing a computer, really taking it to the next level and, coming to the person's house, picking up the computer, a real 360-degree service. A lot of these things in Italy either don't exist or they're not done to the level where you could really make your mark in the market.
Great. So like looking for the opportunity.
Looking for the opportunity. And also, even if you're already in a sector, what I advise people to do is, if everybody in your sector is going left, you need to go right.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're going to bring to Italy a tired product or a tired service, the results are going to be very tired. Okay. Also, a lot of people's perception of Italy is this dolce vita, a slow way of life.
Yeah.
Okay. But the fact of the matter is, if you want to launch a business in Italy, you have to have what I call the spirit of a gladiator. Okay.
I like it. Yeah.
Okay. Because at each step, there's probably going to be an obstacle. Okay. Just setting up a business takes time. It's expensive. And where you can do that in another place for €100 or $100, in Italy, it's a lot more expensive. Now, the government is trying to introduce new tax schemes to encourage people to start businesses. But as I said, it does require the spirit of a gladiator, because taxation is not favorable most of the time. Employment laws can be very oppressive. But despite all of that, I think there are a lot of rewards. Recently I do what I call a VIP strategy day, and I did one with a lady that owns a school. Now, in theory, that's a crowded market, okay, because there are a lot of schools, a lot of people teaching, etc., etc. But we really, had a great day, and I said, okay, well, what can you do differently? Okay. And I think that's what you need to focus on is, and I was only reading an article recently about a luxury brand that's leaving social media. Okay. They're going in the opposite direction. And I think not just with regards to Italy, but I think in general, I think if you want to stay on the market, you want to stay relevant, you have to do something that everybody else is not doing. Yeah, because I mean, for many years I was in what I call general relocation, but now I've gotten far more focused. I'm working far more on a bespoke approach. It's far more holistic. It's much more personalized, because I realized that nobody was really doing that. Everybody was doing general relocation. Okay. And I thought, okay, this is not going to last for much longer. Okay. Or the worst thing that's going to happen is we're all going to be competing on price. Okay. And there are going to be no margins. So I knew instinctively that it was time to go in another direction. And that's what I encourage people to do, even if they are in a market already that's very crowded. You can still do something different.
Yeah, I think it's like very important to find like a different way to get visible to your clients, like being open-minded, like you said, looking for opportunities to create a business, and also like overcome all those obstacles that we have. So, like, what do you see in terms of being different and like getting visible to the potential clients on the Italian market? Like, what are the best ways to market yourself or to get visible?
I believe, given the Italian culture, but just how things are in general, I think it's much better to invest in outbound marketing as opposed to inbound. Okay. And by outbound, I mean meeting people. Okay. Italian companies are not going to buy something from a Facebook ad. Okay. They're going to meet, they want to meet people, and you need to go to events that are not even necessarily connected to your sector, but to events that can give you new input and can allow you to meet new people. This is very important for the creative process. Okay. As I say to people all the time, if you're the smartest person in the room, get out of the room. Okay. It's very important that we are learning all the time. Okay. And if you go only to sector focused events, you normally don't get much out of those. Okay. So from a creative point of view, it's good to go to events that have nothing to do with your sector. You may hear a business idea, Dominica, that you can apply to your business. Okay. And then in Italy, you've got to get in front of your audience. Okay. Italians want to meet people, but I think everybody wants to meet people. Okay. I think there's a certain turning away from the virtual world. Okay. There's nothing like a face-to-face meeting. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's very important, even like connecting on social media, but then like meeting with a person, having a conversation, because we are spending a lot of time online. So it's important, especially in Italy, because they like to talk, they like to see you, they like to also like touch you and have like the feeling of you, and you can have this feeling like talking with a person. Yeah, so like attending networking events.
And they want to know if they can trust you.
Yeah.
This is because Italians, I mean, if you study their history and you go back even to the time of the Borgias, there's sort of a lack of trust, okay, between the people and the state, okay? And so it's very important that you work on getting that trust. And I have to say that Italians as clients, once they have trust in you, they're basically a client for life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Even if someone comes along and offers a lower price, they have a certain loyalty, and if they trust you, that's very important. And I think that's a very positive thing.
Great, fantastic. So thank you very much, Damien, for sharing your expertise with us and for being with us today. So tell us more, where can we find information about you? And I also know that you have a free fantastic gift for our listeners. So tell us more.
Yes, anybody who wants to reach out to me can contact me through my website, which is damienofarrell.com. If anybody is interested in living and working in Italy, I have a Facebook group. It's called Ultimate Italy, and it has a lot of focus on compliance tips, business tips, lifestyle tips. And I think it's a great place for somebody to come to get a feel for what it's like to live and work in Italy. And then I know that in the show notes, you will be adding a link, which is to my cheat sheet, which is about 9 steps to increase your visibility with prospects. And there are 9 simple little tips that you can implement that will get you in front of your ideal client.
Great, fantastic. So thank you very much again for sharing that. And I will put all the links with the show notes, so you can go and download the checklist. So thank you very much, Damien.
Thank you, Dominique. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you very much for listening. So please tell us what are your learning points from this interview, and I will be back soon with another fantastic episode. Thank you very much, and bye.